It's your main man, Zen, aka Zenmis. I am here today because of some frustrating circumstances and things like that. It may sound like I'm smiling, but I am very upset with regards to this. The recent news. Actually, the gaming community is kind of buckled together. Well, come together, and we're fighting against this sort of quote prejudice, quote unquote prejudice with regards to just gun violence being linked to people playing video games and I'm here. I want to talk about my thoughts on it. I got XLG Polo, and I also have a Gamer Menace. Two from Bookstore Comics. Links will be down in the description. Today we're just be discussing that and just how ridiculous it is. When we go ahead and get started, I'm gonna just go ahead and start with my little 2 cent into the actual problem that is this whole trying to link gaming. You can hear it in my voice. I'm bouncing all over the place because I'm just frustrated with why it even got to that point. They're like, oh, it's the internet that's the problem, or it's gaming that's the problem, or it's just having. They say these people that are doing this mass shootings. The problem is that they can be in their little groups online and can talk to each other and hype each other up and do stuff like that. But it feels like they forget that what's going on actually more recently in the past 2 years, we've had a man that's been sitting in the presidential seat do nothing but spew legitimately hatred. Like it comes to a point where we have to realize that what he is stating is racism, and he is brewing hate in a culture that already has experienced it and acknowledged it and revels in it. Like we can't sit here and have him say this stuff and then have in the motif of one of the actual shooters, he quotes our current president word for word for about 6 different quotes. Like that should say something. That because he saw himself in our president, basically. And then later on in the motif, he wanted to say, but don't blame our president for what I'm about to do. This is just something that had to be done. No, killing another person is not something that has to be done. And I can sit here as a gamer, as an avid gamer, a guy that plays games a lot. I work and I also come back and I play my games, but I can still get up every day and still go to my job. I'm not gonna sit here and say that I play a video game like what I'm playing right now is Destiny 2, or I play Call of Duty every now and then, or Fortnite every now and then. Actually, I haven't played Fortnite in a while, or Apex. Those kind of games, those FPS shooters, those shooters and those grind kind of games. I'm not gonna sit here and see like, oh yeah, me holding a controller or using a keyboard and mouse. That is gonna be something that motivates me to go and cause harm to someone I don't even know. That is not the root of what's wrong with that situation. Like, I can rant all day in and out with regards to how this makes absolutely no sense scientifically. Even with just studies that have been the past 10 years, we know that video games do not link directly to how or why someone would commit such atrocities. Like we know this for a fact. Like it's been years when video games even first came in back like 15 years ago. I think when GTA became a thing, they tried to link that to why people were more violent in the world. Like that's BS. Because even in GTA, I've played GTA. You do this stuff, you commit these crimes, but I have never had a impulse to go out in the world and copy what I've done on a computer screen. Never in my life has that come across. So the transition from you playing a game to you going and killing someone is too big. There's too much discrepancy. And if at any point in time there's been a person that's played a game and then gone out and don't try to do something they've played in the game, that person already was mentally ill in the first place. And it's not the game's fault that they've done what they've done. You can't blame something that is there for entertainment. Because if you want to blame video games, let's blame TV shows. Let's blame comedians who make jokes with regards to stuff like this. Let's blame movies. Let's blame books. Let's blame our history books, to be completely honest. I mean, even with them changing up the actual truth in some scenarios, a lot of stuff that's in our history books is downright is atrocious. It's horrible. Like slavery by itself is fucked up, if I'm being completely honest. Like the amount of stuff that's happened in our past, stuff that we should learn from, you would think something would change. And just one more thing before I pass the torch off to you
Man,
guys is recently it's come to my attention that over in I think Sweden, yeah, one of is a neutral country, and normally when it comes to war, I think I talked to you guys about this with regards to them being the most heavily armed country in the world. So they for each for their citizens, more citizens in their country have weapons than anywhere else. From just from people that have written down and registered that they had a weapon. Let's keep it like that. But the amount of actual mass shootings or gun violence in their country is the last number, and I have it in front of me, was 0.002. The last time they actually had something where it was a gun related violence was back 17 years ago. That's crazy. Oh, sorry, my bad. That's crazy because when that happened, they enacted a law and changed certain ways in which you can pertain a gun. They made it harder for people to get a gun. And if you have a traffic violation, you will not receive a gun, because if you cannot abide by a simple rule that is a traffic like you're just riding your car, something you should naturally do anyway is try to be safe. If you can't follow that, why in the hell would they allow you to hold a firearm? Why would they allow you to even remotely come near one if you aren't responsible enough to obey the basic law? So I just that's just my all my thoughts right there, and just and how it doesn't make sense. They can show me all the research they want and try to link it. I've done my own, and there's no link. There's just none. And these people they're mentally damaged on a psychological level if they think that spewing more hate and keeping everybody armed to the teeth is going to change anything. If we're not changing our gun laws, we're not changing anything. We're literally just running in a circle, because when this happens, 4 to 5 days later, we've just forgotten about it. There's no one up in arms with regards to this. There's no people in the street and whatnot. There's no sit-ins, none of that. We've forgotten about it because there's so much crap. I feel like there's so much happening in the world that is so depressing, and it is so blatantly evil that people have become disillusioned to it, or they become numb to it. So something happens, it's a tragedy, but people move on because we have to live our lives. We were talking about, we're in survival mode all the time. We're always trying to get to the next day. We're always trying to make more money. We're trying to get out of the situation that we're currently in, things like that. So that as soon as we can kind of stop and look at it, and we all kind of make a sacrifice together, because nobody wants to make the sacrifice by themselves. It does feel lonely at times. You want there to be others with you. That mob mentality, we need that for situations like this, because we don't have that, nothing's getting done. We can be online and have these people ranting and stuff like that, but until we come together and actually do something, there's never going to be change. So I'm going to stop it there, because I can go on for another good 2 hours just back and forth with regards to just myself.
yeah,
But I'm gonna pass
yeah.
it off to you, Gamer Menace. I'm gonna let you put your 2 cent in with regards to situation. 'Cause we talked about it a little bit last time I was there, but just
Mm.
let us know how you feel, man.
I feel like it shouldn't be seen as like gaming is the issue with this violence. Um, like you said about the history books, right there is proof that violence has always been there. You know,
Mhm.
it was here before video games. It was here before books. You know, the problem is not what people do on their spare time. Um, the problem is how people is dealing with their anger and their growth of hate for other people. I feel like instead of like medicating America, um, America really need to deal with the issues with people, through words, not just like through laws and stuff. Cause no one don't want to get rid of allowing anyone just to get a gun and stuff like that. And like if you take that away, you might still have people that will get illegal guns and stuff like that. So, people need to learn how to like use their words instead of like trying to like use violence.
Mm-hmm. That's very true.
One, this is XLG Polo. I have to say, if you know there are someone with severe mental illness, okay, uh, they shouldn't have a gun in the first place. They should be monitored and monitor heavily because you got police monitoring urban communities with a heavy fist, well, better yet with an iron fist, but there's no one monitoring the other people. Like um, there's a saying, it's the one that you least expect most of the time.
Yep.
So I just have to say that that's the issue we should be dealing with right now, and and also we got to make these people responsible, for their own actions and not put it on other stuff. Because I have to say, I dealt with mental illness myself, and I never bought a gun,
Yeah.
um, because I always looked in my own mind like, okay, if I need help, I can call the police. Hopefully, the police won't turn around and give me a bad time,
Yeah.
but I know they there for to help you,
Supposed to be. They're
and
supposed to
yeah,
be.
it's supposed to be.
If
But
you
we also,
if any of you don't
Yeah,
know, we are all black men in this
yeah,
podcast.
yeah.
So when we say
yeah,
supposed to be, we say that with a grain of salt because of the recent police brutality and stuff like that. It seems to be more characteristic towards black individuals. So
hmm
I'm not saying all police
Yeah.
officers are just horrible people.
yeah.
Like how I would like all people to stop considering all black people to be ignorant and understand that we are intelligent people as well. Like there's a multitude of different black people. But I didn't mean to cut you out. Just wanted to make sure
Oh
everybody
no,
knew that.
no,
Oh
you
yeah,
good.
yeah.
The thing is about it, like as you were saying, take it all with a grain of salt. Uh, I have been harassed by policemen before in my past, doing nothing and didn't make any actions or to make them want to bother me. But I guess that's the mental control that they go through. But my topic, well, because of the topic, hey, it's all out there in
Hmm.
America anyway. So,
Yeah.
but I'm just saying, like, these people with the mental issues, they know better. It's just like you ever seen, and I'm a movie and music person, so please forgive me. But
Hmm.
you ever seen a zombie movie, right?
Yeah.
There's always that one individual that get bite by a zombie, and they don't want to tell nobody else
Oh yeah.
because they know that everybody will be like trying to quarantine them or watch them closely. And that's the
Hmm.
issue that we got right now. We got people who have mental issues. They want to stay hidden, but they're dangerous to the public.
Yep.
It's funny that you say that because like that character is also like mostly in the movies is always the one that will point someone else out if it was them. Like you need to quarantine that person or shoot them now. And like, but if it was them, if it, like they get bite, they're quiet. They like they start to get distant, and then sooner or later I don't know where they're gonna bite someone when they turn.
But let's not. We don't want to make it seem like people that's quiet or to themselves will be a big issue because
Oh yeah,
I know
because
that
I'm a
I know I'm
quiet
one of them
person.
people. Yeah, I'm
Yeah.
one of them people, but I'm not gonna go out and shoot a bunch of people because I'm mad about one little thing. Like
Hmm.
you mad about something. Let's take another approach. Let's not pick up guns, but let's go out and you can protest. There's stuff you can do without taking another person's life.
Hmm.
You know, if you want people to agree with you, taking somebody else's life is not the way to do it. I mean,
It should never
cause
be an
Yeah.
option.
Yeah,
it should never be an
not
option for
ever.
people to, and especially to take someone else's life that you don't even know. Like you have no idea
Yeah,
who they
Yeah.
are. You have no idea what they've come from. You have there should be no reason in like at all that you would go and try to cause harm to them. You may be mad about something of someone of their race or just in a general group, but you can't just group everybody together because those people that he was shooting, majority of them were already they were American born. They weren't like they didn't come over from immigrant. They weren't immigrants at the time. They all were born here, but because they were Hispanic in in their facial expression or their race, he automatically assumed and thought the worst, and then just wanted to cause
and
harm because
and
why
that's
not?
we got to educate. Definitely, we need our officials not to blame recreational stuff or stuff that we use to ease our own minds and get along, go by day.
Hmm.
But what not blame entertainment most of all. I was trying to find the right word, but entertainment is just the word to use,
Just
like for
finding people to talk
gameplay,
to, you know.
music, anything,
Yeah. I'm
Um,
finding. Oh, go ahead.
but I don't know. You go ahead if you got something to say.
Well,
By all means, cut me off.
now you make me want to just say go ahead. But I was just gonna say it's becoming a thing where they want to blame everyone for one person's action. Like the whole thing that they want to make a law about, like how much time you spend on the internet. Don't blame everyone for what Trump is doing. What he's
No.
doing on the internet, because
Oh
I
my
feel like
God.
I
Oh
feel
my
like they doing
God.
that just so he won't be
I ain't even think about
Twittering
that though.
all day or something.
Yeah, it makes sense.
But
Oh wow. I didn't even think about that. They got to create a law for everybody, just not to sit on the president out, right?
Yeah,
Oh my
that's what they
God.
always do. That's what they always do and always will do, especially with like the stuff that he's been saying at least as of recently, like or like the stuff that he
Mhm.
said about the four congresswomen, like that
yeah,
they try to downplay it and say that oh he didn't mean it like that. Then what did he mean? Because that
Right.
it's
that's
not
a
us. It's not us interpreting as like it's something else. These are the literal words that he's saying. So like, what did
yeah.
he actually mean then?
But you know
And he
what?
said word by word like racist terms that's been known throughout history,
Yeah.
But
word by
here's
word.
yeah, I forgot what I was
Oh,
gonna say. But yeah, like I'm just thinking about what Jimmy said, about you know the president. They're always making laws to control every. Okay, now I remember. Now I was gonna say that it's almost like when you go to work and you got that one person that comes to work, never takes a bath or whatever, and they get up in front of
I don't
everybody
want to
and they're
meet that
like,
person ever. Holy crap.
okay.
They just stay
I'm
away.
sorry,
but
What in the
okay,
world?
I'm sorry.
My bad.
oh
Well,
yeah.
uh,
But anyway, they won't they do that. They tell everybody in the room, look, y'all got to start coming to work, using your hygiene, whatever. I've seen this happen before. Um, but and again, thank God you didn't have to be there. But yeah, I've seen this happen before where they called out the whole workforce. They
To
make a
save that
meeting
person, yeah.
just to say to this one person what to do, and then the person never listens because they're like, oh, I don't know who they're talking to, but to make a law like that just to control the president, it's crazy. Like just
He probably
tell
gonna
him
break it
straight up.
regardless. He definitely
Yeah,
probably gonna just break it regardless.
he's that person that's like, oh, I don't know who they talking to,
Yep.
pretty much.
But
But
I just I don't want to have him taint our conversation. But with him, like, it feels like he doesn't understand that his words have a lot of weight to him because people listen to what he says and they just run with it. Because I'm sorry to say, but people are very ignorant. People don't take the time out of their day to go look up actual information and facts, which there are
yeah,
facts on the internet. That there are a bunch of lies up there too, but there are facts. Like you have to take your time. It's not something you're gonna find on the first page, and like that's my thoughts about like the parents that are anti-vax, because you could go on the internet and you can look up, the side effects or the bad side of vaccinations, but you also look at the positive. And I guarantee you the positive outweighs the negatives, because you can sit there and I could find 10 papers that say vaccines are not, the cause of autism, or vaccines are not the cause of all these, people dying and whatnot. And there's one paper that says it might actually cause this stuff, and people will run with that because it lines up with their beliefs. They just take it as what it is, because this is what they originally thought, and if it matches, they don't care about anything else, because if it doesn't matches, now it's just fake news. That's what our president has been doing for the past couple of years now. Every time he'll, something is on the news that doesn't line up with his views or what he agrees with, he cuts the conversation in half and then only takes what he believes in and then just call the rest fake news. That is not how constructive criticism, that's not how constructive arguments, that's not how we get to the root of situations and problems. That is not how you handle or fix anything. Because as soon as you cut that person off and you stop listening, you can't get to the part to where there may be a misconception in what they're thinking, and you can shed some light on it, or you can give them some information that they weren't privy to at that point in time. But they cut the conversation off because they don't agree with it. That's not how you handle something like that. I see Gamer Menace, he knocking some stuff over there.
My bad.
Oh, y'all good.
You mad about it? But one thing I gotta say though, when it comes to the president, and when I find, like, going back to when he first became the president, I have to admit I was upset.
Yeah.
Only because I felt like he was a racist man.
Yeah. That's what his campaign was built off of, just racism.
Yeah, I thought the ground was about to crack open and the sky was going to flood creatures.
Nah, I was like, God, this is a punishment, right?
Yeah.
For America not asking for forgiveness or repenting for their past sins.
You know what I think
now
it was?
We got this man up there.
You know what I think it was? It was a wake up call for all those people that were afraid to say anything or just thought things would just work out. I think it definitely, especially for me myself, because I for the longest, I grew up and I was in high school. My teacher would talk about I should go in political science. We all had debate classes. I felt like I did pretty well. I am just not a politician. In my heart of hearts, I know that I could never do what they do because they blatantly lie at times. They blatantly lie.
That's part of the game.
They make especially during a wartime for some like presidents, they make decisions that put a lot of people's lives on the line or take a lot of lives, and I could never be in that position ever to really do that. So for me, when he became the actual president and that of itself, that was a wake up call. It's like, okay, I may not have to deal directly with politics, but I will be an advocate to at least let my voice be heard for people to, and I try not to spew any kind of hate whatsoever. I have disagreements with our current president, but I will not go out of my way to hate him. There may be some terms I would like to use with regards to describe his character, but I will never just try to hate someone to hate someone. Even if they have done wrong onto me, because that's in the Bible you should not. Hate is not good. You should never hate. You should always try to love your fellow man, and I will always abide by that because that's just something I grew up with. But I'm not going to allow him to be uncontested when it comes to the amount of hate that he is spewing, because it's a cat and mouse game at this point. You can go ahead, but that's a little bit of my 2 cents again. Just go ahead.
Oh no, you good. But I just gotta say I hate racism. I hate bigotry, what they call it.
Because it's based off of
I hate stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? I don't hate individuals because, like, I was watching a video last night about racism, and it was I can't remember her name, but it was the woman who did who put other white. She was a white woman who put other white people in positions to feel how it was to be mistreated because of physical attribute that you had. And but that's something I was like, I would never hate the person because that's a learned thing. People get back and they tell their kids how to act when they grow up, and that thing stays in the child. You know, it don't leave the child; it stays with the child. Even when the child think they have abandoned it, it comes back,
Hmm.
and that's a battle to fight something that being forced on you for years.
Yep.
You know, so I don't exactly hate the person because that's something that they had to learn to act that way. It don't come natural. So
Yep. And I will
that
always try to reach out to those individuals, no matter what, and try to inform them, especially when they're, especially kids at a younger age, because once you get to a certain age, it's hard to get that, that to break that habit. But you definitely got to start kids off young, because there was
yeah.
maybe, I want to say maybe 10 to 20 years ago, I remember watching like an old video. Well, I'm not that old. I'm like 22, but I remember watching a video that was about that old. It was just a little girl, a little black girl, and they were showing her two dolls. There was a white doll and there was a black doll,
Oh
and
yeah.
they asked her, which one was better, and she said the white one, and she said, why not the black one? Because it's dirty, isn't it? That question, she doesn't know, but that is always what she's been taught, because she herself, and this mind you, this girl's like 3 years old.
Yeah.
That's taught to her, because she sees, and even if she doesn't, like, get, she doesn't see white people treat black people that way. She's probably been around a couple black people that treated themselves like that, have been down on themselves, because that is just something that have always been there, and we felt oppressed. It's small psychological things like that are just that break a person. It doesn't have to be. You don't have to physically harm someone to really cause damage anymore. Like, words hurt. Words really do, especially for young kids. Hell, even when you're an adult, words can hurt, and people
Oh
don't
yeah.
realize that. Like, you could change someone's day just with a simple conversation, or just saying hello to somebody on the side. How you doing? If things aren't working out in your life, I'm sorry to hear that, but things can get better. You keep your head up. Just some motivation. You may not even know that individual. Just positive, having a positive outlook on life can change someone else's day just by you being a positive person. I was at work. I was on the phone. A woman, she called in. She was, how you doing? Anybody tell you thank you today for the great job you're doing? And I was like, no, man, but I thank you and I appreciate it. I'm just going to continue to do my job. But I really appreciate that you said that, because, I was having a little bit of a crappy day. It was a long day. I wanted to go home, and that kind of brightened my day up. It's just the small things in life. You don't have to do something grandiose or big. You don't have to go out of your way and spend money to change somebody's life. But it doesn't. People don't view
That
it that
would
way.
be nice.
Yeah. It, people don't view it that way. They feel like they're gonna lose something or lose out on something if they try to be a nice person.
Oh, and speaking on that, let's think about like that subject on about being a nice person.
Hmm.
In America, it ain't a bad thing to be nice to someone like that's in need. If you
Yep.
got it and you can afford to give it, give it. I
Yep.
mean, it'll come back to you.
Pay it forward.
and and on top of that, like we got a lot of people who's coming into the entertainment industry that's like in survival mode. Like I gotta put this person down in order to come up, or I
Yep.
got to keep this person away from success in order to get my own success.
Yep.
I'm like, no, there's too much. There's too many people, and too much money flowing around to feel that way. I mean, because people gonna choose where they put their money at anyway. So why keep somebody else from getting to success when you're gonna get your day soon, but
It
don't
may it may
push
not come fast,
and
but
pull
it will
people
come.
down. And some of the top people on YouTube or um what you call it Switch?
Twitch.
No, not Twitch. Yeah, my bad.
Oh, you're good.
I'm looking at the Switch, but anyway, but all these people took time to get where they, so they didn't become overnight success.
Hmm.
It took time. Whether it was a few hours or a few days, months, or years, it's everything takes time. So,
Yep, that's very true. I wanted to go ahead and cut this one a little short today. Today is gonna be like a small little short one, but I want to get you guys' final thoughts with regards to just violence in America. And one more thing before we do get that in the last segment. I just want people to know that I think South Korea and China, they actually have made more money than the United States when it comes to video games in this past year of 2019. From the year of 2017 to now, they have had next to zero gun related violence in their state. I just want you to just take that with you and remember, like, there are other countries that are doing more in gaming who have a lot more invested in gaming and aren't even experiencing the same amount of violence that we are. So, the notion by itself that gaming is breeding more violence is far fetched and is unreliable. There's nothing backing it up whatsoever than just politicians using it as a tool to just instill fear into people and get their minds away from the fact that why was a civilian walking around with the AK-47? Why? What in what scenario in just everyday life will you need a fully automatic weapon of that caliber? None. I please, in the comments, give me one scenario, one illogical, hell, one improbable scenario where you would need that. Nothing to do with no zombie apocalypse, please, or no end of the world, none of that. Just an actual everyday,
That's a
like you
good
just
one.
going to the store or whatnot, and you need an AK-47. Please, I'll read all the comments, and we'll have a discussion in there too. But I just wanted to get you guys' thought, like just one more little tidbit, something that you guys, to the end of this, you just want to give somebody some advice, or you want to say something positive to somebody, shout somebody out, whatever. Gamer Menace, we're gonna give you the floor, and you go ahead. I think he walked away. Can you hear him?
I can hear you.
I can't hear him.
You can't hear him?
No.
Check your mic.
Probably unplug and plug it back in. Maybe.
I can hear him, but
I cannot. I don't know why.
oh,
Is he still talking? Cause I'm checking my audio settings and I don't see his voice.
yeah.
No,
He's saying, hold on. He said, hold on.
all right.
Just take the mic out and just use your device and see what happens. Oh, um, what device you using? Hmm, I don't know. I don't know.
Um, is he able to at least record his voice and just
Oh,
send it to me?
I'll record your voice and send it to him.
Yeah, just record your voice and just send that to me, and I'll put it in here. Cause I can just go back and edit this.
Yeah, you can edit.
All right.
He said he'd do it afterwards then.
All right. So Polo, go ahead. You got what you wanted to
Well,
talk about, or just like a little bit of a farewell and whatnot.
I just want to say, like I was saying before, there's nothing that there's no way you can put everything on entertainment. Um, and on top of that, um, I don't know. I lost my train, my thought. But anyway, I say just keep your heads up. I mean, 'cause things may be looking bad right now. There's a lot of bad stuff going on. But just stay positive, and keep carrying on with your day. Remember to help your fellow men if you see them in trouble. Um, that's all I know to say right now.
All right. All right. Same. This is pretty much what I was saying earlier. just try to stay positive. Always, look out for those that are close to you, because family, I say family is forever, but sometimes you can have those individuals in your family that are a little hard to get along with at times. But always look out for them as much as you can, whether they like it or not. At least call in every now and then. I know that can be tough in some situations, but you can't blame entertainment for for violence. And if you do, you have to blame all entertainment. You can't focus on one group, because there isn't one group that contributes to all of the violence. Like, if we were being very honest, there would be no more boxing, there would be no more UFC. If we're talking about purely entertainment and violence, you're fighting professionally. You're beating another human being professionally for money. So I mean, if we're I like how to do I like how to, or I normally do, where we talk about a conversation like this and we talk about, I don't like to sit everything aside and like separate them based off of just certain aspects, because kids, they want to say kids are more likely to play video games than watch the UFC. I mean, they watch the WWE. There was a young kid that is in prison for life, or in jail for life, for accidentally killing one of his best friends while performing a wrestling move. Even though we know wrestling is fake, they still perform that move in real life, and those are the consequences. So we can't separate stuff, and we can't blame gaming for being the root cause, when there are so many other avenues and so many other forms of entertainment that have violence in them. So I don't know where the whole gaming is the main cause. Gaming. I'm seeing it all from our politicians and all from the news. They're very misinformed, and I just want them to know that if you have any questions with regards to what an average gamer life is, or just how gaming has influenced my life and kind of saved me from being highly depressed at times, hit me up. Just hit me, just say something in the comments, stuff like that. And I'll happily take some time out of my day to talk to you with regards to it. You follow me on Twitter. I'll have my socials down there too. I don't normally talk about politics on my Twitter too much. I just say a bunch of random stuff at times, but I will happily discuss it with you in the on my feed. So, but that's it for us here today, guys. I'll see you guys next time. It's probably going to be for my Thursday topics video. Try to keep that going. I kind of been slacking when it comes to Thursday topics. This is your boy Zen, XLG Polo, and Menace, and we're all going to see you guys next time. Peace.
All right, peace out.
Take my life, real life, real life, real life. But when my mama told me better think twice, just wanna buy a new crib and some ice. But these fuck nigga wanna take my life. In reality, I'm proud of me. I've been through a lot of things, but never gave up. Couldn't let that load devour me. I can hear the voices calling me. They still following. Can't seem to shake the shadow of my past. That's what's haunting.